media moment. Covers your story will be built from the ground up. King, dominate. He's a mother one, the only motherfucker Jason Lee.
Welcome back to an all-new episode of the Jason Lee Show. Now, my next guest is somebody I've been trying to get here for a long time, but he's so rich, all his houses happen to be within the same state on the other side of the country. Please welcome my friend, author, talk show host, and the host of the Don Lemon Show, and one of the best journalists to ever do it, Don Lemon.
This tea is hot. We're about to spill it, yo.
Already? Listen.
Hi, Jason.
How are you?
I love you.
Do you?
Yeah, of course. I love being here with you. I love you. I'm proud of you. This is amazing what you have here, what you've created. You did it yourself without a roadmap, without you blazed a trail. So I'm trying to follow in your footsteps.
Well, you're following your footsteps. Actually, before we even get into Don Lemon's show, me and my team are over there looking at your social media and trying to copy everything you're doing without saying we're copying. Because you're killing it, but I want to get into that in a second.
All right.
Most people watching in our audience will be like, Don Lemon and Jason Lee. But let me tell y'all something. Don is one of the best journalists to ever do it. We watched him for years do the hard-hitting news, everything from weather, foreign leaders,
presidents.
Even when I reported that the Queen died and she wasn't dead, but I think she was dead. All those things. But Don is a true key behind the scenes. And I think I wore these shoes today in kind of spirit of Wendy Williams because, she's our mutual friend.
Yeah. I almost wore it, but you don't have shoe cam.
I don't have.
I just have loafers on, and I was going to do this, but I thought it might be a little too ratchet for your show, so I'm going to put it down.
They'll know you're in the Hamptons if you do that. Okay, so Don is finally here. It's taken me forever to get him here, and I feel like I run into you in all the interesting spaces, Clive Davis party, White House. You're everywhere. Mm-hmm. Do you like going to that stuff?
No, I don't like doing the red carpet thing. Like, you have to do it. It's good, especially if you're any sort of content creator or whatever, and you're doing your own thing. It's good to be seen there. But I don't really like it. I like going to things where I see my friends. Mm-hmm. Like, I have a lot of friends when I go to Clive's party. And to me, it's iconic. And I go to the White House because I have lots of friends there, but I don't really like to just go party to party and red carpet to red carpet. It's just not my thing.
Okay, so you have what we call in the hood, the show is the hood, this internet thing that we're in is the hood. Well, you have what's called white fame. Is it because of the network you were on for so many years in that world in which you report on? Because I don't have white fame yet. I think that's one of my agendas with you, is to figure out how to get more of that, and I'll give you some of the hood. How is it existing in that world, or have you been in it so long that it's just normal?
It's just normal. It's so funny because when I came up in the elevator, there was someone walking their dog. This is like little blonde girl. And she goes, "Oh my God, I'm fanning out right now." And I was like, "Why?" She goes, "Because I'm on the elevator with one of my favorite stars." I'm like, "I'm not a star."
You are a star.
Yeah, okay. Well, and then last night I was in the hotel, and someone said, "Oh my God, my favorite person is here," and I'm like, "Who?" She was like, "You." And so yeah, but also I have black fame too.
You do, but everybody in the black fame world has not been embraced yet. Like I run into people who know me and they're like, "Oh my God, they fan out," but it's like I'm their guilty secret, so they fan out in private. They will never fan out in public. I watch you, and I remember watching you at the White House. You and your husband, who just walked in, by the way. I remember seeing you all at the White House, and I watched how people were watching you and how you were able to kiki with me on the side, but then go right into the hard-hitting news. I'm like, yo, that code switch was crazy. But no, I mean,
you have to. You got to code switch. You code switch, no?
I mean, now as the vice mayor of my city, I do.
Yeah. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
That is a pivot. That's a flex.
That was a flex.
It's a flex.
Yeah.
And you're doing it.
Yeah, but now it's a lot of work.
Really?
But I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, okay, so you were on CNN for many years, as we all know. When you were doing hard-hitting news in what I call the ecosystem of mainstream, how difficult was it to navigate and balance that world and the world in which you're also accepted in over here with us folks? The culture.
I don't know if I ever really had to balance it. It's weird because the two cultures, like if you look at white culture and black culture, like they see things differently, especially in the news. And if you're doing a story that affects black culture and you're not on the 100% on the same page as black culture, they will eat your shit alive. They'll eat your lunch, right? And you're like, well, look, I have to be, I get it, right? I get it, but I got to tell the facts sometimes. Like, can we just talk about like our friend Wendy?
Yes.
Like if I say, I want what's best for Wendy, and I don't know, I'm not inside, I don't know who the bad influence is in Wendy's life, because I'm not in Wendy's life like that. So if I say, perhaps part of what's happening to her is good because that's why we see her getting better, is because she has care. But that doesn't mean I agree with everything that's going on with her, that I agree with, her being locked up in a room. But if you just don't say, free Wendy, everybody's like, I don't like what he's saying. And you're like, wait a minute, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Or when Whitney died, and I had to report that, Whitney was at the Beverly Hilton, like doing some things that were, the day of, that were like, or the days leading into her death that were a little bit unusual. So you have to report that, and people get upset about it. It's like, you shouldn't be telling those things. I said, but I'm a journalist. I have to tell those things.
When people are watching you as a journalist and in that world, are they looking at you as just a journalist, or is there another lens when you're black?
I think, well, yes. I think, honestly, white people are looking at me as a journalist, and black people are like, you're black.
You're one of us.
You're one of us.
Yeah.
So don't be telling our business, or you have to be on our side, and, yeah.
So how do you balance that?
I just think you have to have a tough skin, which So you have to have a tough skin and a steel stomach and just keep it moving. Look, I'm on my people. I'm on my people's side. And, I know there's a double standard for us, a triple standard or whatever, a quadruple standard. And so I know that. But I also, again, as a journalist, you're tasked with telling the truth. And I tell the truth on the other side. People don't like the MAGA folks don't like the shit I say about Donald Trump. And and that I believe Donald Trump's entire cabinet is a DEI. Their definition of DEI,
right.
which means unqualified. That's not exactly what it means, but they don't like that either. So white people don't like some of the things I say too, and I just have to keep it pushing.
There's actually clips of Don online if you go and look. There's the one that lives rent free in my head is the clip of you and Simone Sanders.
That was iconic.
No, but there were lots of those.
There were lots of those.
Yeah.
They don't happen anymore.
Was that you? Okay, tell people just really quick if they haven't seen it, so you can go on YouTube. It's out there. You and Simone were having.
Roll that clip, Jason. You can roll it in there. You got money. Look at this setup.
Who owns it. They're not about to snatch my stuff.
It's what do you call it?
That's what they fair use.
Fair use. You can fair use it.
Okay.
It's on the internet.
Can I fair use it?
I don't. It's not. You can fair use it if it's on my social. If it's on social media, why can't you use it?
Yeah.
Use it.
Okay. Listen,
I'll tell you.
Okay.
You want me to tell you?
Yes. Tell the story.
Okay. So we were talking. By the way, Omarosa has no sense of humor. So we were talking about Omarosa she was doing something. I think she got fired from the White House, or she was in the White House, or something happened with Omarosa.
She was put in the White House by Donald Trump after she was on The Apprentice and became head of black people.
And then did she get kicked out or something?
Then she got
And so
fired.
she was on a tour, and she was like she was spilling the tea, telling secrets or whatever. And it happened to be Black History Month. And so I had Simone on with this guy, Scott Jennings, and I think it was just us three. And I said, let's talk about Simone Manigault. What was her name? Not Simone. Let's talk about Omarosa Manigault, whatever her name is. Yeah. And Simone said, Don. And as soon as she said that, that's a black person, I knew. I'm like, here we go. And so I just shut my mouth because I knew. I was like, I'm just going to let Simone go off. And then she goes, do we have to talk about Omarosa? It's Black History Month. Did we have to talk about Omarosa?
It was the funniest.
It was so
ever.
funny.
But
the people in the studio, all the studio guys were cracking up. And I was telling them stop. When I'm going stop, I was telling them, because everybody was like bowled over laughing because they knew. And I was like, someone had to bring me tissues. It was like a thing.
But isn't that the thing that I think made you distinctly different than a lot of the other people on network news? Because it felt like one of us was in there trying to really tell it and doing a great job at it, but also on the side eye and like behind your mind.
Yeah, and they didn't like it. That's why I'm not there anymore. Because if you notice, nobody does that. Everybody's afraid to do it.
And that's the reason why people are now TikToking their life and sexy redding it all the way, getting Kamala out the White House. Like nobody's paying attention to the people who talk to us about the things that we need to be focused on.
Because it's not, look, I think there are some really great journalists and there are great people at CNN, don't get me wrong. But there was an ease and an authenticity with when I was there and with me, and I felt free. That's what my rabbi was there. You know, the guy who said, "Go do you," because that's why people are watching. And by the way, it was the highest ratings, most profitable time, the most relevant time in CNN's history. So I'm very proud of that. So I had somebody who was on my side and who allowed me to do that. So I felt free just to be me. I would forget I was on television. And so when Angela Rye and Mark Lamont Hill are on with this black Trumper guy, and he says something about if a person goes into Cheesecake Factory with their "Make America Great Again" hat on, and they can't feel free to go in there, because that was one of the things. That's what we were talking about. And Mark Lamont Hill says, I said, "Mark, I know you want to say something," another iconic moment. And he goes, "No, I'm just wondering why the brother want to go to Cheesecake Factory." And we all started laughing the exact same way, and it was like the blackest moment on cable news.
Everybody's thinking the same thing.
Because everybody's thinking this, and even we were like swaying the same sort of black, like same way. But you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody's so afraid, and they're all like, hair's like.
But isn't that the same issue, I think, or the same problem that the Democratic Party is having with respect to connecting?
You're a journalist.
No,
It is. It is. Because they're too afraid. They're afraid to, can I say bad words on here?
You say anything you
They're
want.
afraid to say shit. They're afraid to say, what the fuck is wrong with you? They're afraid to say bullshit. Although we did have like this really like straight-laced white guy recently, Senator Chris Murphy, say bullshit. And I was like, I almost jumped out of my skin. I was like, finally. Because the folks on the other side, on the MAGA side, can say whatever they want. With impunity.
And they say whatever they
want. And they
want.
do, and with impunity. Like I was watching Fox News and this guy said that that Kamala Harris was the original Haktua girl. And I'm like, well, he's gonna be fired. Nope. Still there.
Can I tell you something that Charlamagne, I got to throw you under the bus. Can I tell you what Charlamagne did one day? He called me one day and he said, "I want to know your opinion." I said, "What?" He goes, "Do you think it would be bad if we had the Haktua girl on the Breakfast Club and she did Haktua for Kamala?" I said,
yes,
"Charlamagne, that
don't
would
do
be
it.
horrible."
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but
Charlamagne.
well, he didn't do it. So congratulations, Charlamagne. Okay, so when you look at when you're in a cable network show like yours that was massive and you had the influence, were you ever watching your competitors?
No.
I don't watch my competitors.
Yes. Hold on one second. So anyways, that's what the Democrats need to do to win next time, is to be themselves, get out there, meet the people where they are, take off the pantsuit and the tie and go talk to people and speak to people on the television, wherever you are, cable news, by the way, you need to be coming on podcasts, they need to be coming on your show, I'm not no shit. And they need to just be human beings. Now, did I watch the competition? No, not really. There was no need to watch competition because I wasn't competing against anybody.
That was a read. That was hard. That was real journalist reading.
No, I wasn't competing against anyone because people would bring me on, other journalists, to hear what I had to say because they were afraid to say it. Mm-hmm. And they just didn't have the what to say it, or they weren't thinking the way that I was thinking about a particular thing. And there weren't a lot of people in the space. I was the only black anchor on primetime and cable news.
Oh, I'm not even talking race. I'm saying like a Tucker Carlson. Would you look over and peek through the windows of his trailer park and say, "What is he doing?"
No, because I would have them. You have the monitors. I had like 4 or 5, 6 monitors in my office, and so I'd have it on, but they'd all be on silent. But until something happened, if it was a story, then I would turn the volume up. But not really. There was no one to watch. I watched. Sometimes I'll tell you. Sometimes I would look at Rachel Maddow and just I like the way she weaves a story. But she's a little more long-winded than I am. And that's not a read, that's just she's different, right? She tells a longer story. My stories are shorter. When I'm trying to bring you around to understand something, I'll give you some evidence, but I'm not gonna take as long. She'll take like the whole A block, and I'm like, wow, Rachel. And then I'll be like, well, here it goes. And then boom, she's gonna go to break. I'm like, and that's her thing, she does. And so I know that about her, I don't really watch. Every once in a while, I'll I would turn her on. But I would watch people like Wendy. I learned a lot from Wendy. Mm-hmm.
What'd you learn from Wendy?
That to own the space, Wendy could sit there and just talk to herself. She'd ask herself a question, and then she'd answer it. She'd ask, and I knew that was, that's an old trick, right? When you don't have anywhere to go, you go, so what happens with the fires next? We don't know. What could I? So you ask yourself a question, and then you answer it, and that gives you somewhere else to go. But she would sit there. But what I think the biggest thing that I learned, the most important thing I learned from Wendy, because I had never done radio, and she's done radio, was the importance sometimes of silence. Most people are on the air afraid of dead air. And so when Wendy would go,
that was a whole moment in itself.
But everybody at home goes, why isn't he saying anything? So those moments where you would see me and I'd come out of a soundbite and I would go, God. That's what people love. And I learned that from Wendy. Is to take your time and do your thing. And so, I was always free and emancipated on the air, but then I learned really to lean into those moments, because that's when people turn the television up, when they don't hear anything or it's an authentic reaction.
So everybody's watched Wendy and her, struggles, and her eventually being placed in conservatorship, hidden from the public for a while, and then you and I were two of the three people who had an interview with her. How do you interview somebody like Wendy when you've been in her home like I have, and you know her personally and have seen some of her struggles, but then have to balance what you know privately versus what the public sees and wants to know?
My conversation with Wendy was, it was truncated, a little shorter, a lot shorter than I wanted it to be. And that was, there was a time constraint that there wasn't supposed to be, because she didn't call back. She didn't call at the time she was supposed to call. And so she called later, and so I got what I could get. But when you know someone and you're trying to get people to understand, in a concise way, there's no time to ramble or go off topic. And so I felt comfortable saying, Wendy, hold on 1 second. Well, wait, Wendy. And so I'm sure some people didn't like that, but that's the way we would talk to each other at home. Like, oh, wait, Wendy, hold up, girl. Wait, you're moving too fast. And then she would go, Don. And then she would answer the question. So I had to do that in the interview. And especially because I think Wendy is in that room and she's by herself, and the only lifeline she has is the phone and the television. So if she finally can use the phone, I have so much to say, I want to get it out, I gotta get it out, this is my story, right? Which I think anybody would be that way. And so I had to just make sure that she stayed on topic so that it would make sense. The interview would make sense and that people could get something out of it, because you want people to learn and really get her story. And I had a short time, so I had to use those skills that I had in journalism. And, we got to get to the break. So let me get all these things out. So, but if I had a longer time, it would have been an easier conversation where there would have probably been pauses and we would have, come on, Wendy, I don't really understand that. Make me understand that. I didn't have time to do that. But that's how just like I would interview you. It was just like I'm sitting, like I talk to you on the phone.
But when we're talking on the phone, you won't say everything you were saying.
No, and I don't say everything that I know about Wendy. It's just not respectful.
Right.
Like I know things that people don't know, who are out there judging and saying, this should happen, or this should happen, or this should happen. When you've actually spent time with someone who is going through some things, you don't tell all their secrets. To, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna betray someone's confidence, and I'm not going to, spill tea or say, I don't know, private things about people just because I know, just for clout. And some folks will do that. I'm not doing that to Wendy. And I wouldn't do that to you or anybody.
So when you look at what's happening with Wendy and the Sabrina Morrissey conservator and all of that, what do you make of it? I mean, does it seem criminal? Does it seem just you don't understand it, or?
There's a lot that I don't understand, and I probably should research more. And I think we all should, when it comes to conservatorships and guardianships, because they're different in every single state, right? Excuse me. So I think that there should be more transparency around it, because you can really hold someone hostage, keep them in jail, take control of their finances, and there's no oversight, and so you don't know. So that part I think should be looked into, and I think the judge needs to know that. The more people who can speak out, it will go beyond Wendy. I think it'll help Wendy and other folks. So I say that to say that I'm not in there every day with Wendy's business. I don't know what kind of medication she's on. She says she is. She can talk about it. I don't know what her day-to-day is. I don't know if she's having a good day or a bad day, or if everything that they say, I'm not a mental health expert. I don't know. And I don't know who or what the influence is or the trigger is for whatever it is that she's dealing with. Or, I don't know. So I don't know who's a good influence and who's a bad influence. And so I can't say, well, Wendy should be allowed to be with Jason. Jason might be the bad influence. Jason might be the trigger.
Nah.
I'm just, you know what I'm saying.
Yes, I know.
And so I say, I want what's best for Wendy. If it's best for Wendy to be in a guardianship or a conservatorship, then I want that. If it's best for her to be free, then free Wendy. Do it. But I think that the constraints and the parameters are too tight. No one should be in jail, especially if you're a person of a certain age. Live your life, and you've made a lot of money and whatever. Live your life. There are people who are of sound mind and body who spend all their money. Who go bankrupt. Look at the athletes, and they all, they are all within their senses. So I don't think that you should be able to take someone's rights away. I think Wendy should have a bit more autonomy. I think she should have someone who watches her money. I think she should have like a sober coach or someone who can be with her. But I don't think she should be locked in a room for 24/7, and she needs like someone, to sign a permission slip, a hall pass for her to get out.
Do you think they screwed it up with the Free Britney movement? Because every time I see her twirling around in the underwear, I'd just be like, lock her back up.
No,
we had the knives with the poor little dogs. The dogs were screaming for their lives. They're about to die.
But I'm saying, Jason, you make a good point, because part of the reason that we maybe, and people aren't, this is where our people aren't going to like it.
Yeah.
Part of the reason that Wendy may be doing well right now and that she sounds good is because someone is taking care of her. Do you understand what I'm saying? That she's getting care and getting treatment. But also, having such tight constraints might not be good for her as well. So that's why I say transparency. And if someone reevaluates, if she has a mental health professional and the judge and someone in the system look at it, I think they will see that Wendy, needs to be a little bit more free than she is. So that's all I'm saying.
And the distinct difference that I can think of is Britney did have access to her family, or they had access to her, whereas Wendy's family is restricted. Sabrina Morrissey is a white woman, Wendy is black, and as much as we don't want to think race plays a part of it, I can tell online by the way people react, and it does.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And look, I think all that's legit. I think everything is legit. I'm glad people are talking about it. My heart for really, I know people are going to be, Don Lemon doesn't know. I know things that you don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? And I want what is best for Wendy, because I love Wendy. I want what is best for her. So if Wendy is getting better because of the treatment and whatever, then good. But don't lock her up in a room 24/7. I just don't think that's right.
Do we let Diddy out?
Well, that's a whole thing. You're talking about something that's criminal, and you're talking about assault and.
Listen, Don.
No, that's a whole nother show.
Let me tell you something. Don is never going to get caught up in a deposition. One day, Don texted me about something, and I said, "Oh, somebody, you at the Diddy party?" He said, "I've not been to a Diddy party." You made it very clear in writing for the record.
I've not been to a Diddy party.
I've been to Diddy parties. I haven't been to Diddy after dark.
So that's a whole nother show.
Do you ever wish you made it to at least one Diddy party?
No.
No?
No, I'm not interested in that.
No, okay, is it too much Ciroc, or is it just,
You mean in a Diddy party like the party where everybody is?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I've gone to the white party, not that I've gone to Michael Rubin's white party, and that's fun, but I'm not even at that party late, right? Yeah. Look, I'm old. I want to be home with my dogs in the bed, but that's just not my kind of thing. I like, a little bit more private than that.
But when you look at the journey of Diddy, all of us that are in the industry, we've heard things about Diddy over the years. Maybe not the sex trafficking stuff that we're seeing coming out now, but when you see the trajectory where his life is going, what do you make of it? Besides the fact that Wendy called it from the beginning, because Wendy's been...
Can you imagine if Wendy was on right now?
We'd be watching her
all my
all
God.
day.
She would come on to the, what does she do when she comes out? How you doing? Yeah, let's get started. It's time for Hot Topic. She would just sit down and be like, I told you.
By the way,
did I not tell you?
Wendy's pivot in outing people or calling people gay or referencing them being gay on radio and being able to commercialize it with the how you doing. People, I don't. Did people get that?
Did they get it? She's like,
I don't think people got that. But
no, they got it. No, they didn't get it. But she's right, because there are a lot of people in the business who, they're pretending that they hard and stuff, and
how you doing?
How you doing?
For real.
Yes, and she knew.
And Diddy was allegedly one of those, while he was also allegedly trying to kill people.
Allegedly, reportedly.
Heavy on the allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember once Diddy walked up to me at the Rock Nation brunch, and he says, he put his arm around, I never told this story, he put his arm around the small of my back. There are different layers of the back. The small is a little bit more intimate. And he said, come by the house and let's kiki. We all know a kiki.
Look, never happened to me. I don't know. But,
But when you look at pop culture, that's pop culture.
Yeah.
And news. Meaning what he's going through right now.
Yeah. I mean, it all kind of blends together, but yeah, what he's going through is news. I mean, look, they raided the guy's houses. The FBI is involved. He's in jail. He's in jail with Sam Bankman-Fried, and who's the other person? He's in jail with somebody else. Who was he in jail with recently? Luigi. Yeah, Luigi. How you doing?
But now see how you doing. This is the thing. What? But look at the disparate application of like accountability online. They're in love with Luigi and want him free. We watched him gun a man down in broad daylight. Diddy, we ain't seen no house party, no slip and slide with the baby oil yet. Lock him up and throw away the key.
That's a whole different thing. Why?
There's
well,
this man killed a man in broad daylight.
I'm not saying I agree with it.
With a silencer.
But I'm just, no. But people will say, I'm not saying I agree with it, like Chris Rock said. I think it was about OJ or something. He says, I'm not saying I agree with it, but I understand. Yeah. So I don't agree with any. I don't think anybody should take that sort of drastic action to pew pew and off someone. But I understand people have huge issues with the healthcare system and the insurance system. Look at what people are dealing with in Los Angeles in California dealing with the fires and their insurance. So I understand the frustration, but does that give you the right to be able to kill someone? No, it doesn't. But I understand the frustration.
So you're in the hard news every day. Donald Trump is now our president.
Oh, Lord.
You're an independent. I didn't know you were an independent.
What do you mean? Who am I?
You're not Democrat.
Oh, yeah, I thought independent journalist. I was actually in college, I was a Republican.
Yeah, but a lot of black people were Republicans.
It was a different party then. And then when they started going off, on the deep end, and then I realized, I started coming out and becoming aware of who I am. And I'm like, well, these people aren't looking out for me. Mm-hmm. And so very quickly I was like, okay. And then I was like, I don't know if I want to be a Democrat or not. Maybe I was a Democrat for a minute or so. Probably in the early days I was. And then after a while, I'm like, well, neither one is doing I don't believe in everything that either party is doing. And I'm a much more independent thinker. And I'm not just going to vote for someone because they have an R or D, after their name or in front of their name. So.
Wait, so when you say when you were coming out, so were you always been gay?
Yeah, but when I started, I've always been gay. I've been gay since I was a little kid. I knew. Wendy
would call you the gold star gay. Remember, gold star is if you've never been with a woman. I've been with women. But
No, I've been with women. I dated women. Yeah.
Oh, so then you're not a gold star gay.
No, I'm not a gold star gay.
You're just
some people are platinum
you're just
gay.
Found your way on a journey gay, like me.
I've always known that I was gay. I've always had. I'm telling you too much. I've always had experiences, that you don't tell people about. And I dated women, and I did the deal. Whatever, it was fine. And I realized what I liked more.
I was telling my friend a story the other day that I haven't really shared about how this trans man tricked me early on, because I'm not attracted to trans, just not my thing. Hey, trans, I know y'all are going through a lot right now. That's not my thing. But I kind of fell for this guy that I liked when I was DL, not Don Lemon, down low gay. It was a man tricked me, beard, happy trail, chest, muscles, everything. I was like, oh, I found the one. This is the one right here. After a couple of Jack in the Box tacos, come to find out this was a whole woman transition to a man. But we found out in the middle of sex.
So it was the whole thing? Like when you got there, like what?
Oh no, this is somebody I had been talking to and getting to know. I'm gonna take my time.
No, but you're saying it happened during the experience. So what happened?
We got too much liquor at a party, ended up going to my room having sex, and the waterworks were there. I was like, hold on, this is not what I'm used to.
Was it a full transition or was it bottom surgery?
There was no penis. Oh no, they had removed the breast, had muscle.
So no bottom surgery. So they had top surgery, but no bottom surgery.
Correct, because he still had a vagina.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I just think people need to know what they're signing up for.
So you want to know the difference between...
It's what you order versus what you got.
That's the difference between journalism, a journalist, and whatever. You're just like, you say there was no, and I would just say there was no bottom surgery when people would know what that meant.
There was no clip-on penis. It was just, nothing was there.
Yeah.
So the reach around was different. Don, I'm telling you, it scared the shit out of me. I had to go downstairs and process with all my friends. You remember Stoney and Set It Off where after she had sex with the guy, she wouldn't try to wash herself off because she didn't know what she just did? I was like, but that was young, 23-year-old, 24 years ago, Jason, not really knowing what was going on. Of course, I've grown into being gay now. I know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be, that has never happened to me. That would be interesting. I have trans friends, and my straight male friends will say they're hot. I would go out with them if they've had the full surgery. And so I have to, and they say, you have to ask. And I say, my friend really likes you. But he needs to know whatever. I said, that's not my business. Here's his number. There's your number. He asked me, and I'm just telling you that's the thing.
And
that's
all
I do.
Yourself.
And then I remove myself. Because I'm not gonna. It's not my business.
Right.
But if I feel that I should be a friend enough to tell them what the story is, right? So that, they have the information before they go in.
And then they go off when you leave and hook up and have a great time. Because that's what happens.
That's their whatever.
But don't you think human sexuality is now evolving? I mean, they're blaming the evolution of having homosexual. They're blaming they people are MAGA, blaming the evolution of sexuality on like the gays and trans. But really, people I think are just interested and inquisitive about what's out there.
People are interested and inquisitive about what's out there. I also feel like during the pandemic, people got to the end of the line online. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, this is the end of the internet. What now? What, right? And so I think that people are a little bit more willing to experiment, more willing that they will let on to. And so on the sort of liberal, more progressive side, people are like, okay, fine, I try, whatever, no big deal. I am or I'm not, right? I have some people who have I have some friends who have had experiences and they say, you know what, I realize I'm not gay, not a big deal, right? And I believe that, I trust that person more than someone who's like, I'm whatever. And so on the Republican, more conservative side,
well,
yeah, there's a lot of repression. You go to Republican or conservative events, and you're like, wow, there's like 18 people trying to, right, shoot their shot, and you go to a Democratic event, nobody cares, right? So I think that they need to get with it because, it's over. People are trying everything, and I think they're going to realize that there's more on the spectrum rather than I'm one thing or I'm the other.
Could you imagine if Donald Trump or J.D. Vance had a male lover one day and they just came out? I know the visual of that's kind of jarring.
I don't even want to think about that.
Okay, so I'm a big person in Zodiac. You're a Pisces. I'm most compatible with Pisces. Rihanna's a Pisces. Floyd's all my friends are Pisces. Do you believe in the Zodiac?
Somewhat. I'm not, I do, but I don't think that, I don't have a big enough ego to think that there's some, something that's dictating my life that way. I think that's like all kind of about ego. Oh, the universe, this whole big thing cares about me so much. I was born in this time that it's doing whatever. But I do find it interesting that a lot of this shit turns out to be true, right? Is it wish casting? Is it that they tell you, that you look at something or they tell you and then all of a sudden you make it happen because of energy? I have no idea.
Yeah, because I'm now like, the only thing I'm really obsessed with is not dating a Gemini or a Capricorn. Like, those experiences, I'm so traumatized by them that I did, like, so I could be right. Is he a Capricorn?
No,
Is he a Gemini?
No, he's an Aries, and I don't think I'm supposed to whatever because we are.
Yeah, but Aries is a fire sign.
Yeah.
You gotta have a fire sign. Leo, Aries, you gotta have a good fire sign in your life. Okay, I wanna talk really quick about Elon because I know that you burnt the internet down unintentionally, I think.
Did I?
Yeah, when you all had your sit-down interview, everybody's talked to you about it ad nauseum, so I'm not gonna go there. But if you haven't watched the interview and you have an hour in your day, just go watch an hour of it. It is great content. And I think it's because what I love about Don is you stay true to who you are and you stay true to what we need as an audience, regardless of who you talk to. And I think that if once you left CNN, first of all, I blame you for that because Beyonce would have never went back to the girls. You were Beyonce on CNN, you had your own shit, you went over there with Kelly and Michelle, and the shit just didn't work out.
That's all right. but Beyonce went out on her own. See what happened.
And look at you now.
There you go.
Looking back at the girls like, where y'all at? No, but then when you left CNN the way that you did and got that big payout, by the way, and then went over to do your own thing, and X was going to be one of your distributors, they probably thought you were going to be the person that brought all of us over to watch you on a platform that was mixy with all the right-wing bullshit, and you came over as Don Lemon. And I think in that interview, it was really clear that you were standing on business, standing on what you believed in by asking the hard questions. Did you think that they expect you to be somebody different?
I don't know what they expected. All I know is what I've said before publicly, that I was enticed to go, right? And publicly asked. And I was doing what I believed, what they wanted, what they promised. They wanted me to come over to do what I did as a journalist. And that's what I'm a journalist through and through. I'm multidimensional like every other person. I can have fun, but if I'm doing a job and if I'm interviewing someone of consequence, I think that it's okay to question them about things that they've already discussed publicly and things that are pertinent to them not just in the zeitgeist, but just, as it relates to what happens in our country and in the world. And if you look at that interview now, like that interview ages really well because it's prescient.
It's relevant to the times right now.
That was, that interview happened almost, a year, well, it was about 8 months before the election. And so, but I think that what's playing out now, it's really prescient because it sort of goes through and the questions that I was asking became really relevant. Like, are you going to support a particular candidate? Now, right now, I don't want to put my thumb on the scale, blah, blah, blah. Have you given money to such and such and such? Not right now, whatever. And then look what happened.
But that's why, again, I think, don't you think people need to be more dialed in to what you're doing, to what those of us who are not promoting the propaganda, that are actually asking questions? Don't you think people should be paying more attention? Because you asking about free speech in an area where it's not even free anymore, it's coming at a cost when it comes to X and like what's happening in social media, where there are no guardrails anymore, there's no checking, and now we see Meta wants to take away fact checking, which is going to make it even more reckless. Don't you think people should be paying attention?
Absolutely. And I do believe that in the time that we're in now, and this goes beyond Twitter, in the time that we're in now, where you have this sort of marriage almost, it appears to be, between the media owners, social media, and traditional media, where you see all the folks who are, at the inauguration or who are donating money to the campaign. A lot of those folks own media companies that own broadcast news
and they have consumer data.
Well, I shouldn't say just broadcast news, yes, that own journalistic organizations like the Washington Post or the LA Times or Meta, and on and on and on.
So so those that may not know that know Washington Post, Jeff Bezos owns Washington Post.
And the Washington Post refused to do an endorsement as traditionally they have done for Kamala Harris, and then they reportedly endorsed Pam Bondi, who is the Attorney General.
Who owns the LA Times?
The LA Times had an issue, I forgot his name, but they had an issue. Journalists are leaving, and they're saying that they're reporting, they don't want to be so critical of the administration. And so they are sort of scrubbing their place of people who are kind of holding their feet to the fire, allegedly, reportedly.
And this goes back to, again, Jeff Bezos owning Amazon that basically has everybody's consumer data, how we behave online, what we buy, what our interests are, where we live. I mean,
Meta, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and WhatsApp.
And so now there's just no oversight, no control, really.
Well, there's no real regulation when it comes to social media sites. There's regulation when it comes to traditional media, like broadcast newspapers or whatever. Like you're not supposed to have, it's not supposed to be a conglomeration or a consolidation of, one person or one group owning so much media. And they'll say, it's an antitrust violation or it's too much or whatever. And so they'll try to break it up. But that's why a lot of those folks are, donating to the campaign or bending the knee because they want their mergers and acquisitions to go through in DC. They don't want it to be touched. Whatever business they have going in front of the government that will require government oversight and approval, they don't want that messed with. So they're like, hey, whatever, but yes, yes, sir. So I think we're in a scary time. I think we're in a time now that we have to be very, very careful because we're close to state-run media by having a media but is really afraid to hold truth to power.
Which is different than what we have now.
Which is different to what we have. I think we're in a place now where we had a media that did that, and that has going over, but we're very, very close to having the whole entire ecosystem run by the state. And are very heavily influenced by the state. I think that's the importance of independent media, because there's no oversight. There's no oversight, but there are no corporate overlords. There's no influence coming from the top or from people who are your bosses or all those things. You are your own boss. I don't think you're afraid of someone canceling you or firing you because you held someone's feet to the fire. And so I think it's important that people now support independent media because that's where they're going to get the real information, the real journalism from. Traditional legacy media, they do a great job. They have all the resources, especially when it comes to international news. There's no one better than CNN. But I think, when it comes to some of the things that's happening in America, I think independent journalism is really going to be the thing that keeps a democracy going.
And then I go over to the Don Lemon show. I've been on the show. You have to go watch the episode where I told him Andy Cohen be at the bar hitting on Dominicans. He called me out for that. It was the most funniest shit ever. Because he does.
Because how you know?
Andy, stay out my backyard. Go over there.
You can't say allegedly?
No, I saw him. He was there. Andy. No, but it was funny.
You're so messy. You are messy.
No, because Andy was hitting on somebody that I wanted. He ended up getting them, and I'm glad I didn't get that. You know how you can look back over sometimes and go, man, I dodged that.
Yeah.
No, your show is so well produced. I need to understand. I told my team, go over there and look at what Don Lemon is doing. I like the stuff on the street, talking to people. You are outside the studio. Yeah. You are out there talking to people and having really good moments, and I'm gonna get to one in a minute. And then, I love just the production quality. I was in the gym the other day watching you as you were watching. Somebody was testifying about something, and you were
RFK Jr.
RFK Jr. and then Trump's.
There was a couple weeks ago. It was not Pam Bondi. It was not Matt Gaetz, because he didn't. Who was it before? I can't remember who it was. Who was?
What is this?
Oh, Pete Hegseth.
Pete Hegseth. Yeah. So I'm watching just your production quality. But it also feels like we're intimately sitting down with you wherever you are. Sometimes your backgrounds are different. Then I saw you the other day walking and talking with the caption. I'm like, yo, whoever his social team is, you deserve a raise. He didn't want me to tell you that. And whoever's putting it together, it's so well good.
Thank you.
Does it make you proud that you made the decision to move on and do your own thing?
Yes, but it's weird. It's almost an imposter. You know what imposter syndrome is? I don't know if I'm explaining it properly, but I'm shocked. Like people used to say, "Oh my God, CNN guy, CNN." And they still do. I think I'll forever be connected to CNN. But now people are like, "Oh, I get dressed to you in the morning." I'm like, "Oh, so on YouTube?" And they, no, I on TikTok. And I'm like, "Okay." And then I'll say, someone will say the same thing. You with coffee, and I'll say, "Oh, you're watching on TikTok?" And they go, "No, I'm watching on YouTube." And so it's kind of a weird place to be in. And it is actually, we are very nimble, and we're a tight little team. I started off with this entirely big team in a fancy studio And it's different for me because I mostly do news. And the audience is like, that looks too much like cable. Like, your studio's beautiful, the lighting's beautiful, all that stuff, but it looks too much like cable. We don't want cable. We want you in your living room. The living room thing started very shortly after I started doing the show, because I was doing a couple episodes a week, not every day. And we were just putting them out there, and then, they would do what they did on YouTube and on Apple and on iHeart and Spotify and all that stuff. And I said, well, I feel like I'm doing the same thing because I have no connection to the audience. And I said, I want to be able to talk to my audience, and I want my audience to be able to have a voice and have some feedback. And so I said, I'm going to start this show every day called Live at 5. Because we remember, I don't know if you remember Sue Simmons and all that back in the day, Live at 5 on whatever. So someone had done that before, so it's nothing new. Like Hot Topics is not new.
Right.
People,
but they rebranded.
But they keep rebranding. So, and I do Hot Topics now because, Wendy's not there doing Hot Topics.
And on my podcast, I do the Tea with Jason Lee. It's
all the same. And so I said, I'm going to just start doing this from my house and see what happens. And the audience is like, we love this. So I would start reading people's comments, and I'd be like, what do y'all think? Start reading people's comments, and the subs would start going up. And I said, okay, well, this is great. And then so we would do polls. I'm like, do you like the studio show, or do you like this? Always do it from your house, because we feel like we want to. And I would get upset, like the dog is barking in the background. I'd be like, Tim, shh. My husband shut. And they're like, no, the dog agrees that was some bullshit. And so if you want to I'm just doing me, and I have, I think my team is like 5 people now. When my team was probably like 15 when I first started, and I was like, I don't need all of this.
But do you find the freedom of being able to do your own thing because you decide the topics, or you produce it, right?
I produce it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I produce it myself. I had a production company, but I didn't need that.
Yeah.
So I have this little team, and we produce it. We come up with a schedule that's workable. And also we do live. I'm giving away all the secrets. We do live because live is real. That doesn't require heavy production. So gosh, the feed went down. Sorry, that's live. People.
And it's the pulse of what's happening right at the time.
It's happening right at the time, but also you have to remember, COVID changed the game because we started seeing all of our people who we loved watching on television all in their living room from their homes. So why would you go back? Right? And what the big guys don't realize is that they're spending millions and millions of dollars for all of this stuff.
Wait, don't tell them, because let them keep spending.
Yeah, and they need to.
Yeah, you guys are doing
great. They need
great,
to be spending that. They need hair and makeup. You need the cameras. You need all of it.
Yeah, keep doing it.
Keep doing it. Keep spending the money.
Yeah, but it was just, I remember when I used to go to Wendy's show regularly, and I felt like she was passing the torch, and I was going to Deb R. Mercury, and I was like, I'm ready for my nationally syndicated in-studio show. And I remember Stephen Brown over at Fox, he was saying, why do you want to come over here?
Right.
We're all trying to figure out how to go over there. And I think similar to having a production staff, this large staff, you need that crutch, or you feel like you need that to do it, but you really don't. No. And I feel like you're defining you're ahead of where the game is going to eventually get to, from broadcast getting to digital, because you're already doing it.
You think so?
Yeah. I don't give props to people just to be giving away props. I'm not Diddy handing out dildos at the party, allegedly.
There's no baby oil in here.
Ain't no slippery slides over here.
So do you watch the lives?
Yes, I've been watching it, but like you said, when things go down, I haven't caught those yet. I've seen it. Yes, I'm watching it, and I'm wondering, okay, like, how is he staying in it? Because you have to have somebody feeding you something.
No.
Really?
No, I don't like to wear the earpiece. I'll tell you, I shouldn't give away my secrets.
No, I don't give away secrets.
Okay, I'll tell you afterwards.
Because somewhere Anderson's probably trying to plan his exit.
I think he's good.
He's good. I love Anderson.
Yeah, I think he's good. I don't know. Here's where I am. I'm not above the news. I'm not above any story. I'm not above the business. I'm trying new things. I'm not afraid to fail, and I'm not afraid to be successful. And I think you have to have that attitude when you're doing this. And also you have to remember too that young people keep you young. And so, when I was in a system where the average age of the viewer was, quite frankly, in their 60s, and some of them in their late 60s. And now I'm in a place where the average viewer is a lot younger, probably 30s, average, maybe 40s, average, but they're young people, like young people, 18-year-olds. Like I go to Spotify conferences and these young people, I'm in a weird place.
Yeah.
Because people, as you said, people recognize me.
I mean, you have that old audience that watches TV,
Yes.
who's at home flipping through, found CNN.
Yeah.
Now you got the new people who they're on social media, TikTok. You probably don't even have to post on TikTok. I don't never really post on TikTok. I'm always viral on TikTok because they take it. And they do what they want with it, which is great.
Yeah.
It's a different world.
And they like you real. They don't like the veneer of, they don't like all the veneer, the fancy whatever. They just want you. If you have a personality, and so a lot of people are getting let go from these traditional places where they were, and they think like, oh, I've been doing live news or whatever for hours, for years. I can do this. And I'm like, okay, wait and see.
So you had Candace.
It's not that easy.
You had Candace Owens on the show.
Yeah.
You're proud, out gay, married, have a husband who's sitting right over here, and she tells you that being gay is a sin. How do you keep that poker face and still continue to talk her through the nonsense?
Well, that's how she feels. And so I'm interviewing her. I don't have to say how I feel, and I'll let the audience decide. There are a lot of people who agree with her. I don't agree with her. And what I said to her, and I don't know if people, play that part. Like the people who love her will just play the part of where she said that. And I said, well, what about people who say that you're in an interracial relationship and that's a sin as well? I don't know where the Bible says this or whatever. And the Bible says a lot of things about a lot of things, but we pick and choose what we think is sinful or not. Are you going to wear these two fabrics together? Because that's sinful in the Bible. Are you going to eat bacon on this day? Are you going to eat shellfish here? Are you going to do whatever? That's sinful in the Bible. So don't cherry pick. So I know that, and I don't have to say all of that in an interview. I just let people say who they are.
Did you see that Martin Sheen clip where he said that? When
No.
the lady says, Mr. President,
Oh, yes.
You see that? And he went through,
right.
You
Yeah.
see that?
Yeah.
Because again, people use the Bible and they politicize and socialize homosexuality in the Bible as something, I think, as a tool to drive us all further apart.
Of course.
Right?
But that's what all of it is.
Right.
And they're getting richer.
But because she doesn't think about, she's coming on my show soon, but she doesn't think about, or I would want to know, do you think about the time when her being a black woman dating a white man or having a kid by a white man outside of slavery was illegal? And Emmett Till being killed for even looking at or whatever a white woman. I mean,
Yeah.
Do people like her rewrite history or just ignore it or make up their own rules? Or
No, I think that they come up. Look, people find a permission structure somewhere for everything. I just wrote a book on religion. It's called "I Once Was Lost: My Search for God in America." You can pick it up in your local bookstore or anywhere online. So I write about these things and the hypocrisy that goes along with thinking like that. And also, there are many stories that are very similar to the story of Jesus. And so you happen to believe in Jesus, I happen to be a Christian, and so that's what I believe in. But there are people who practice other religions who have very similar stories to Jesus. That's not Jesus. And so what makes the Jesus story more valid than the story of any other religion people practice?
My mother used to say, "Don't fucking cuss," and I used to be like,
"But you're
hold on,"
yes.
But that's really, I think, how people use the Bible too. Like the Bible says, no one sin is greater than another. So if you kill 2,000 people or you lie, in the eyes of God, at least in the Bible that you're using, it says it's pretty much the same thing.
People get out of jail for murder if they serve enough time. So that's forgiveness.
Or people become president and then don't go to jail.
For crimes, and especially lying. Isn't lying one of the 10 Commandments?
I thought so. Maybe not.
So how many times has he broken it? But you voted for him.
So the black conservatives. Did you see the guy at the inauguration? I don't even know if you're a conservative.
I didn't watch the inauguration. You're going to the preacher guy?
Yes.
I saw. I only saw a few clips because I just can't. I just saw where he stole from Dr. King's speech
on Dr. King Day.
On Dr. King Day on my channel, which I don't know if you saw it or not, we celebrated Dr. King on that day, and it was one of our highest rated lives. You know what I did on that day? I said, this is my channel, I'm gonna do what I want. I cooked breakfast for my husband and our dogs or whatever. And I gave the news as I was cooking. I said, we're celebrating Dr. King Day, so we're celebrating freedom. And so as we were going through the news this morning, I'm gonna wake up with you. We're gonna have a Dr. King breakfast. So I cooked bacon, eggs, grits, biscuits, and we sat at our dining room table and we watched Al Sharpton's celebration of Dr. King in Washington, D.C., and we talked back, the audience talked to us and we talked to the audience, and we did not cover that other bullshit that was going on in Washington, D.C. that we were just ignoring.
The only post I put up besides a picture of Coretta and Dr. King was a picture of, it was a cartoon of Dr. King telling Donald to be quiet and putting his finger on his lips. And white people lost their mind. How dare you? You're supposed to be a vice mayor. I got elected based on who I am. I'm not going to switch up who I am. But I thought it was very telling to have the inauguration and that show go down on the same day we were celebrating the man who was the face of freedom.
Yeah.
Do you understand where we are as a country right now? I mean, when I see Latinos online talking about, oh my God, I can't. It was like, well, you could find the ballot. And y'all voted for it.
You should. That's what you voted for. So
right.
After you fucked around and you found out.
You fucked around and found out. Y'all heard Don Lemon say it. So you know if Don just said it's real. You fucked around and found out.
Yeah.
What do you make of the world that we're living in right now?
I'm not surprised. I mean, some people are like, what's, oh my God, I can't believe it. Someone asked me the other night, were we just living in a dream? Or in a bubble? And I said, no, I knew the country was racist since I was a little kid. Like, this country has been racist. I wasn't surprised when Donald Trump won the first time. As a matter of fact, I predicted it, and a lot of our people were mad, and a lot of liberals were mad at me. And I said, this man's going to win.
What made you confident he was going to win?
Well, I was sort of on the inside of, we would have off-the-record editorial meetings with the different campaigns. So we'd have an editorial meeting that was off the record with the Hillary Clinton campaign.
So you would understand the inner workings.
So we would understand the inner workings, what they were talking about. And what I realized is that, no shade against Hillary Clinton, because I think she's probably, one of the most qualified people to be president, her and Kamala Harris, in modern history. So I realized that her people were not doing her justice, because they were sort of picking and choosing, as I think Democrats did this time as well, who they were going to go on. We're not going to do this. We're not going to go on this podcast. We're above that, right? And Donald Trump was everywhere. So I would ask them a question about such and such, and they were like, oh, well, we're just going to let our opponent destroy himself. And sometimes they wouldn't even know what was happening in the sort of zeitgeist, because they were in such a bubble. Mm-hmm. And then we'd meet with the Trump campaign. They knew everything. They'd be like, we're not doing that, Don. Remember you said blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, wow, they are watching, right? They know what's going on. And so one Sunday morning, I woke up and I opened the New York Times, the Sunday Times, and Donald Trump was on the front page of the New York Times. And then he was in the New York Times Metropolitan section, right? The New York section that only New York gets. Then he was on the cover of he's in the real estate and on the editorial pages. And I was like, And then you get the New York Post, he's in the New York Post.
But he became good for media though, because he was giving you something to always talk about.
Yes, but he was keeping himself out there.
Right.
And he was controlling the narrative. And I said, this man's gonna win. And then people would be like, you know what, like, guy's an asshole, but I kind of like him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, uh-oh, she's in trouble.
But then I ran into Gio Benitez from Good Morning America at the gym one day during this latest campaign. And he's right after Joe had stepped away and Kamala had stepped up, I go, oh, we got a chance now. Kamala, I think she's gonna take it. And he said, nope, she's gonna lose. Like, how do you all know in media, how do you know? Is it because you're taking it in from everywhere?
I think if you're out there talking to people. It's very simple. And it's like one of the first things you do in journalism. And then I think it's a real shame and it's a sin, because people who are climbing the ladder, they hand that sort of thing off to a production assistant or a field producer. And so, when you're at the network, sometimes you don't really talk to the people. And so I believe that Gio is probably out there talking to the folks. and then you get an idea. I don't know if you remember my content when I went off to the Democratic Convention. And I went off to the Democratic Convention and I was interviewing people in battleground states and swing states.
During which part of the campaign?
During this one now, back in this past summer. And I went to New Jersey, I went to Pennsylvania, I went to Ohio, and I had all these people, even black people, saying, I'm voting for Trump, I'm voting for Trump. And people were like, Don, you are scaring me. Are you curating this somehow? I'm like, nope, that's what people are saying. And I reached out to the Harris campaign and I said, hey, it's Don. I know Brian Fallon, I know those folks. And I said, hey, it's Don Lemon. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not a political reporter, but I'm telling you, you have a problem with black men. And some black women never heard back from them.
But I used to tell them, and I've even told the vice president directly to her face, why do you think they didn't listen?
Why do you think? I told you. I said the same thing with the Hillary Clinton campaign.
But do you think that bubble, within that bubble, they're eating they're believing their own hype, or they're just, I still don't understand.
I don't want to, look, considering what happened on the other side and all the misinformation and the whole reason that Donald Trump is president now, so I don't want to, just completely slam the Democrats. But I have my ideas about what happened. It was such a truncated timeline for her to run, and I think
100 days.
Under the circumstances, I think she did a fantastic job. But I think if she had a longer time, you know how it takes you a while to get your groove, and then you listen to people, everybody at first. When I was doing when I was at CNN, you listen to everything the producers say, and you just kind of do the thing, turn here, do this, go to the break, and then after a while, you're like, wait, this is my show, right? Stand by. Get out of my ear. I need to finish this or whatever. Can we bust the break or whatever? And you tell them, this is what I want. I'm going to open the show this way today, and then you sort of get your groove. I think if she had had a longer time, she could have run her own campaign. I don't think it was her campaign. She was running the campaign. I think she was listening to the people around her. And I think that they were running her as if she was a white woman trying to appeal to black people, when she is a black woman who knows black culture, and she did not have to treat black media as if it was some sort of ghetto thing or niche media. She should have been popping in on your show. She should have been popping in on my show.
She was scheduled to come and canceled and wanted me to go to Africa. I'm like, for what?
She should be on Tamron Hall's show. She should be going on Joy Reid's show. Should be going on Roland Martin's show. And just even if it's just for 5 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever it is, and not saying, okay, now we're going to have our black media outreach. Like, she's not Hillary Clinton. She doesn't need black media outreach. She is black.
Right.
And so I think that was a big thing for her. But I also think that they were kind of too, anything that had sort of the veneer of legacy media, they thought it was okay. Even podcasts that had that kind of okay, this is a safe place to be. Where Donald,
he'll go on any show and say anything. And they don't realize the reach of certain people culturally. They may not have the Joe Rogan numbers, but culturally these people represent and speak for a lot of people, and may not even be measured on the normal Nielsen or whatever system that they are sort of judging what their reach is. People don't understand. It's it's like a weed. It grows. Do you think Joe Biden's team, or Joe Biden himself, is part of the problem in assigning her to the border and not really giving her responsibility that would hit the vein of
it? Yeah, and I love Joe Biden, but I think Joe Biden probably should have stepped aside a little bit earlier. I remember, I think it was 2022.
When he fell off the bike the first time, they should have just...
But when I think it was 2022 when I interviewed Karine Jean-Pierre, and I said, does he have the stamina to run again? And she, Karine, they were like, ah! And I think that's when I fell out of favor somewhat with the White House, because, you can see around corners. And I said, I think I said, because I have eyes and we can see. And they got mad at me.
Wait, did they stop inviting you?
Some maybe, but I don't care about those things.
They stopped inviting me too.
I'm not friends. I don't have to be your friend. But I do think that you have an obligation to speak to people and to respect them. I think a lot of the times, especially now in this administration, that people forget that they're public servants, and they think that they're your boss when we're their bosses.
Yeah. Well, they tried to flip the script on that, but then they got evicted. So you mentioned your new book. I once was lost. My search for God in America, and you talked about your faith and your search for God. How has your faith evolved over time?
I've lived long enough to know that whatever it is, the universe or God, or however people want to characterize it, is going to take care of me. It hasn't let me down yet, and so it's not going to let me down in the future. And then I also live with the knowledge that I know I'm not ignorant of my mortality, that people don't live forever. And so while I'm here, I'm going to live, and I don't give a damn what people have to say or think about me, so I'm going to do what I want to do, and that's what I'm doing now. Mm-hmm. So in this new venture, and when I left CNN, I was like, okay, I would rather not have left that way. I would rather have been able to sign off, to talk to people, to have like a going away party. It didn't have to happen that way. Mm-hmm. There was a reason that they did that, right? There was a reason that people did that. And I think most people get it, Black people get it, you get it, right? You understand.
I mean, you fire somebody and let them come back. I mean, I don't know.
What you mean come back?
When they come back, you don't know what they're gonna say. I think it's unfair for sure because, I mean, you built an audience and a core followership that I don't know that they still even have. Because I don't watch CNN like I did now that you're gone.
Nobody does.
Yeah. But who did it hurt in the long run? It didn't hurt you because
That's what
you
I'm
went
trying
off
to tell
and
you.
did your
That's what I'm
thing.
trying to tell you without saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying without saying.
Well,
So.
I like to say, CNN, you fucked up. Because I would go over there and just stay there, even if I'm not watching, in the background listening to it, because it was, it's like my homie telling me, shit's fucked up, you better be paying attention.
Yeah, and sometimes I would say, this shit's fucked up, you better be paying attention.
Why are more people in that world of the CNNs, that hard news, more concerned about what's happening in Israel and Gaza and not really giving a shit about the Congo?
That's a good question.
Because they're killing people in Congo. They're slaughtering. My friend Sergi Baca has been posting about the Congo. And the CNNs of the world don't talk about that. Why?
But our last UN ambassador to the UN, who's a friend of mine, I've tried to highlight that. Because that's not where the interest lies. And perhaps there's not enough folks here who care. Mm-hmm. I think I'm still there. I think CNN International will cover it, but I do think that there needs to be more eyes. I think that's a good question for the executives, and I think it's a good question for the people, because I think Americans should be more aware of it, but it's a catch-22. Perhaps they're not more aware of it because people don't cover it. Yeah.
And you've talked about depression or struggling or managing depression. How do you report on all these different things? Does it not trigger like your
That's
emotion?
why I'm on it.
Because you're talking about some of the like wildest stuff in the world.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why I have faith too. I have to get on my knees and pray and say, or just lay in the bed and say, God, thank you for everything you've given me, for my beautiful family, my husband, and whatever, and that, I'm not in need. And, I pray that you keep me with sound mind to be able to bring light to these things, the sufferings of other people in the world, without damaging myself. So I have that faith. But I'm a human being, and I realize, especially after something as traumatic that happened at CNN, see, if you work in an office building, right, at Company A, you get let go, nobody cares. Mm-hmm. It's not on the cover of the New York Times, right? You don't walk down the street and everyone goes, damn, I hate it, or they fucked up, or what's wrong, or every day.
As soon as you open up your Instagram.
As soon as I open up my Instagram, so everywhere, and then like a pop-up, I don't even search. You open up, bloop, AOL, there you, I'm like, oh, damn, there I am. You open up Yahoo, oh, there I am. You open up Google, there, and it's like, damn, right? And so, I realize that having a mental issue or depression is no different than if you broke your toe and you went to God forbid, and you went to the doctor to have it fixed, or you sprain your arm and you go to the doctor, or whatever it is. There's no difference. And so I believe we should take the stigma off of mental and emotional health. And so I've been, I said to my head therapy, because a lot of us don't like therapy.
Oh, I'm in therapy.
Yeah. And so I was saying to my therapist, my therapist was saying to me, why don't you go and get on an antidepressant? I'm like, no, I got it. And he said, aren't you writing a book on God? And I said, yes. And he goes, well, you know the Lord helps those who help themselves. I said, well, you got me. But that's not actually in the Bible, but you got me, so I'll try it. And I went to the doctor and got it, and almost immediately, it was HD again instead of SD, if you know what that means, high definition.
Yeah, and you've been open about, I mean, I've shared in my book about my experience with surviving child molest. You've been open about it. Why it's in a world where most journalists are buttoned up and don't let us into their life, have you been so sharing of yours?
Why do you think I've been so successful?
Yeah.
It's because I'm willing to do that, even when people criticize me for it. I remember when I said on national television that I had been molested as a kid. I think they probably wanted to fire me then, because I immediately, when I got off the set, my boss called and said, okay, well, yeah, you know, something to like, so you didn't have to share that, but since we're here, like that kind of thing, rather than, hey, that was really brave of you. And, you know, we really support you. I don't think they really had a choice back then but to support me. And so then, you know, when I eventually came out, the same thing. And then I started getting more autonomy, and, you know, you start, I shouldn't say feeling yourself, but you get more confident. And then I realized, like, people like real people. And, you know, even the people who don't like, even your haters, you know, your haters are super fans.
Oh, they just don't know how to express themselves.
I know, and they love you.
Absolutely.
And they watch more than, they are your most loyal fans.
They know more about you sometimes than you know about you.
And the people who say, oh my God, I love you so much. And then a hater will come and say, you know when you did that? I was on the plane the other day and this guy said, hey, you know, Mr. Lemon, I know who you are. And I didn't agree with you or whatever. But you know, I always like to watch you. And I think you should do a show with a Republican. That would be really great. I would watch that shit, man. And everywhere I go, people say that.
Right.
When Tim and I go to things, like we'll go to a wedding or something, we'll be at a wedding reception, they start liquoring up. All of the conservative straight boys are on me, buying me drinks, talking to me, can you get a picture? Am I lying? Can I get a picture? What? And I'm like, okay. So
wait, so when you're a journalist like you and you're married and both of you are good looking, still young in your prime, and you have all these guys hitting on you, do you ever look at them and go, okay, we can get away with a threesome?
No.
Are you allowed to have a threesome? I mean, Don Lemon, is Don Lemon, you're safety prone, like you're not getting in no shit.
Yeah, I'm a grown ass man, and I can do what I want, but that ain't your business, Jason.
I'm just saying, if you're friends with Andy Cohen, he might try to bring him over.
I'm not friends. I know Andy. I'm friendly, but I'm not friends with Andy Cohen.
Okay, who are your celebrity friends?
No shade. I mean, that's the truth.
Who are your celebrity friends? Because I tried to do this deal with Wendy. I would give her Madonna if she would give me Kelly Ripa. Kelly Ripa's somebody I want to hang with, but I can't find anybody to connect us.
I kind of know everybody, but I'm not friends with them.
Flex.
We live around the corner from Alec and Hilaria Baldwin. And, you know, people are like, they feel the way they want to feel about them. But to us, they're very nice. We go out to dinner with them, and we love them.
But you won't go to the gun range with them. I mean, okay, that was too soon. Go ahead. I told y'all he came to the
Come
hood.
on now.
We love Don Lemon over here.
Come on now. I'm friends with Whoopi.
Love Whoopi.
I'm friends with Joy Behar. She lives around the corner. She's
Love
a neighbor. Who else? Everybody. Sunny.
Wait, so do you see these people walking your dog?
Yeah. We'll be in the house, and Joy will knock on our door.
Really?
Yeah. We go to Joy's every Christmas.
Okay, so one day I'm going to come to your neighborhood. I don't know. Are there a lot of black people in your neighborhood?
I live in...
Don't tell where you live.
Okay.
These people right here, the FBI, they will track you down. They'll be reporting live right in front of the Don Lemon house.
I live in a place that has historic black neighborhoods for... look, I live in... Everybody knows, right?
Oh, Harlem.
No, I used to live in Harlem. I don't live in Harlem anymore. I live in Sag Harbor. And historically black neighborhoods for people who wanted summer homes or whatever for black people. And that was the only place that would sell them property. And so considering the demographics of the area, I live in a place that's more diverse than most, but it's not like I live in Harlem anymore. Yeah, it's not like that sort of black place. Even Harlem now,
well,
it's gentrified.
Listen, I went to Brooklyn not too long ago. Brooklyn is gentrified.
Yeah.
And it's interesting in running for office in my hometown, Stockton, where I now have moved back and live, and went to a meeting. They're like, "Oh yeah, if you live in this side of the neighborhood, you can now swim in the pool, but this side can't until they make it a part of the new development." And they have cars where they're plugging in, and Asian folks walking down the street drinking Starbucks. I'm like, what the hood? This is where I got shot. But they don't even understand what gentrification is.
But so when you're asking me about celebrity friends, I don't even think that they're celebrities. You know what I mean? Because they're just my friends. I'm like thinking like who? And all these names are popping up, but I don't think of them as celebrities. Right. And a lot of them are just my neighbors.
But you're also a celebrity. You know you're a celebrity. You know that. I mean, as much as you're trying to downplay it, I know you don't want to. Don, you're in people's homes. You were in everybody's homes forever, and then now you're on our phone. I literally logged in this morning, and you were there, and you had posted. The algorithm's putting you on my phone first thing in the morning, and it wasn't even a recent post.
Oh, it wasn't.
Yeah, wow. That's why you're everywhere now.
Go algorithm.
So okay?
I'm gonna come up with a character called Algorithm.
New content. Okay.
Algorithm Nation.
Okay, let me give you your first gift, the box.
Is this it right here?
Yeah, you get the box.
Jason, I got to tell you, it's the box.
Yes.
I really love what you do.
Thank you. Okay, so when you do the algorithm, you can use this first mic.
Is there a
first gift? Yes.
Oh my gosh. Jason!
Okay, but we made it bedazzled, not because of my shoes, but because you're gay, and every gay man should have a bedazzled mic.
My gosh. I'm gonna come up with a celebrity segment where I use this.
Yeah, maybe you use that one and just be like on the DL.
But you know what?
Get it?
Seriously, that's what people don't realize when you talk about legacy media. This shit will work.
Yeah.
And people will love it.
They would.
Right? Do you know what I'm saying?
They would.
Yeah.
Wait, and then we got another little thing in there.
I love this.
Because now I just got my mics. You can literally just clip it on and do a whole thing.
I have these mics, but they're not yellow like this. Say what? I love this. And this is the thing I plug into my phone.
Yeah. But this goes back for all of you out there who want to create your own show or whatever. You do know nowadays there's stuff that you don't have to have a full studio or a staff. You can get you a microphone, phone stand, boom.
Can I put it right here?
Yes, you can put it right there.
I love this. You know this reminds me of Wendy's mic, right?
I mean, we put some thought into what we do over here, Don. I know it's the ghetto.
How you doing?
Okay, so
this is great. You like this?
Damn, that ring is beautiful. You know, I found somebody that I thought I was gonna marry. Oh, this thing is everything.
Wait, no.
Oh, it's heavy. He wanted me to let y'all know they spent a big buck. His man does luxury real estate, which means he got his own money, so Don don't have to pay for everything by himself. Okay, look, I found somebody that I was gonna marry. Found a ring just like this. You know, he had the nerve to tell me that that's not the ring he dreamt of his whole life. I said, first of all, the type of men you've dated, they couldn't afford that type of ring. That's why you're still single. Congratulations on being married.
Thank you.
How is it being married now? I mean, you all, before you got married, I would see you out, and you all acted married. You acted like what I think married
Everybody
people
thought
act
we were
like.
married.
Yeah.
Yeah. How is it? It's great. Like, now it's weird because I was so used to saying fiance, right? And now I'm like my husband. I'm like, oh, wow. It feels great, and it feels official. And which it should be. Before it was like, okay, everybody can have a fiance, have a boyfriend, but when you're married, it's a thing. And then when we got married, we wanted to, not necessarily, I don't know if I want to say make a statement, but we thought it was important that we be married by someone who is official, right? And so the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations married us, and we wanted to get married in a church. So you're gonna make me cry. No, I'm serious.
Have we seen you cry? We've seen you cry.
You've seen me cry, but it was, that was something that was really important to me, and I never thought that I would be able to get married. And so I said, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
And in the church.
But you know who told me he would marry me and didn't?
Who?
It was Joe Biden.
Really?
He told me a number of times. He goes, yeah, I'll do it. And then after I asked if he was
available?
No. When I asked him if he had the stamina, or asked his press secretary if he had the stamina to run, he said, I never was the same. Yep.
So now that you're married, I just thought about this. We're going back to the whole Candace Owens comment about being gay is a sin. they forced us all into sin for years because they wouldn't let us get married.
Exactly.
And now y'all trying to take away the
Living
one
in
thing.
sin. We couldn't have babies.
Right. Do you want kids?
Look, deep down, yes, but I think I'm too old. He can. He's
You're not
young.
going to birth them, Don.
Yeah, but I want to be like 80 when my kid graduates high school, but maybe.
I mean, you got 3 dogs. That's
We'll
like,
see. That they're practice.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's in the room. Come on, don't do this. All of our friends have kids. We have friends now who are going to the surrogacy, and they're like, oh, we fertilized this many eggs, and this one's a boy, and this one's a girl, and then we're looking at the surrogate and interview, and we just sit there like.
because you're not.
But luckily, we do have 2 friends who are like, I don't want no kids. So yeah, but
Yeah.
most of our friends have kids.
Yeah, I go back and forth on whether I want kids, but half the time I don't know where my dogs are, so that I don't want to be that parent that don't know where his kid is, because then he'll end up on the Don Lemon show having done something he shouldn't do.
I'm helicopter. Like he's the one, he takes care of the dogs mostly. And I'm the one that's like, don't do this. Or I'm like, make sure he has a sweater on. And he's like, make sure he does this, whatever. Why is he doing that? I would be helicopter dad. Where is he doing his homework? Yeah.
Well, listen, Don has come here and survived the show, but we're not going to let him get away without getting to the, we do a little mess over here, the games. So
Oh my
now
gosh.
it's time for our games. All right, so now it's time for us to get to some fun. We have a game
boy.
here at the show called Name Drop. It's a real simple game. We put up the face of somebody you may know or may have had a moment with, and you just have to say the first thing that came to mind.
Okay.
Don't overthink it, Don. Just throw it out there, okay? So the first person that I'll put up, Selena Gomez.
Oh, the first thing that comes to my mind, compassion, because of what happened to her online, and I thought it was really unfair. And if someone is being emotional and they're doing it in the public, and I kind of just wanted to protect her for some reason. I don't know why.
When she was crying over the
Fires.
the fires.
No, not
no,
over
the
the fires.
deportation.
Deportation.
When she was crying over the deportation, you know, I felt for her too, and I felt for her because I think that's kind of where everybody in the country is right now. But I also don't understand crying into the phone.
Yeah. Well, that part you can, and that's the beauty of it. You can criticize, you can say that, but she has the right to be able to do it, which is what I was saying.
Yeah.
And without people, now you would say, why does she do it into the phone? But most people were criticizing her, saying, oh, you're rich, or F you, you liberal. Why don't you get out there? What are you doing for them? Why don't you give them some money or let them live in your mansion? It's like, come on, people. Yeah.
Okay, compassion. All right, this next person, see if you have the same compassion. Candace Owens.
Shady. She's kind of shady. I don't dislike her, by the way, but she can do some shady shit. Yeah.
The thing that is interesting about her is
She's likable.
likable and
Yeah.
she's smart in a different way. Like she or is it lipstick on a pig? I don't know.
No, I'm not. Look, she's not a dumb person, but I think part of when people think she's so smart is because she talks fast. She's a fast talker.
And she's articulate.
She's a fast talker and she's articulate with that, so I'm not questioning her intelligence, but that wouldn't be the first thing that comes to mind with her.
Shady.
Shady.
Okay, what about this guy? Snoop Dogg.
Ooh. This the first word?
The first thing come to mind.
Why?
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 Wow, your whole legacy is marked by why?
What? Who, him?
Yeah. I mean, his whole thing. The first
Oh, well, I get his legacy and all of that, but in the moment that we're in now, you asked me the first thing that
Why?
came to mind. Why? Why did you do it? Why did you go and perform? Why? And he may have a perfectly legitimate reason I have not heard from him. And maybe I haven't, maybe it's out there and I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard some things and I'm probably gonna see him sometime soon. And if I do, I'm going to ask him why. Yeah, and that's no shade.
Snoop, back in 2016, had gone on this whole rant about why artists or shaming artists that were going to go perform for Trump, and then now he's done it.
Well, not even that.
And
He
an
called
event.
him,
All types of stuff.
yeah, did he call him, did he say coons or something?
I
or-
said coon on Wendy's show, and everybody fell out as if I didn't know that was something you're.
No, that's bad. But
Right.
I think he called, I'm not sure if but something like that.
Yes.
He used that sort of terminology.
Yeah. Why? Okay, this next guy, his name came up earlier before your husband got here, and you acted out. Luigi Mangione.
He's handsome.
They said allegedly his penis isn't working because he had a back injury.
Okay, well, I don't know about that. The first thing when it comes to mind, handsome. And then the second thing is like, it would be, I don't know if it's a word, but like movie. This is like the scene out of a movie. Yeah.
Not murderer.
No.
Yeah.
You asked the first thing. I mean, but it would be allegedly murderer. Yeah.
And people don't, when they see him, they're not saying murderer right away. Like the Free Luigi is a movement.
Yeah. But folks need to, again, I think it's good to talk about why is that? And if he was of a different hue, would we feel the same way?
Well, we know the answer to that. I think we do. I think we do.
But if it was Michael B. Jordan, if he looked like Michael B. Jordan, would you be saying?
I still want to know why Michael B. Jordan hit that Lamborghini late at night and nobody's talking about allegedly drinking. But anyway.
I don't know anything about that.
Wakanda forever. All right, this next individual, Jasmine Crockett.
Love. This is what the Democrats need.
I just said the other day I was at lunch with the Congresswoman and I FaceTime Don. I really feel like this is the direction they need to go to really get to the heart of the people who want to hear the other side.
And they should have realized when she said bleach blonde, bad built, butch body, and America went, whoa, and she started raising all that money. Like the Harris campaign should have been like, okay, this is where we need to go. And the Democratic Party needs to, so for someone like that, right, if she wasn't, they would try to cancel her. Like she's too much. Like she was whatever. Democrats, stop it with the canceling people. Stop it with the getting rid of the Al Frankens of the world. Stop like suppressing your strongest voices. Start going with the people who are in the real world, right?
Like me.
Yeah, like you. But she's great. She will come on my show, she'll go on your show, she'll go everywhere. And so they need people like her. And quite frankly, you may not agree with her on every policy, but AOC, same thing. AOC, whether you want to realize it or not, is an icon. Right? And Jasmine Crockett, I believe, is becoming, and it's like right here, to be iconic. And the party needs that. And I don't understand why they, don't really lean into her as much.
The old
as they
party
should.
playbook doesn't work. Like it's done. And it's
none of
not
it's working. It's over.
That's like people still pushing television when you're clearly thriving. I'm thriving. Like,
do you understand? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Someone asked me, Joanna Coles, who is the Daily Beast, I think she's an editor, and she said, she said something, oh my God, traditional media or legacy media is dying, or blah, blah, blah. And then I said, well, why do you keep writing about them? And she's like, I don't know the answer to that.
Because that's all they know.
But that's what I said. Why do you keep writing about them? Why don't you give some ink to some people who are actually out here trying to do different things? Because you're in this world. And she's like, she didn't know why.
But when you talk about imposter syndrome, I'll be honest with you, that question was the thing that made me have imposter syndrome, because I'm like, wait, you don't see me? Like I have billions of views. I have this, and I had to go, oh, it's not me.
It's not you.
It's you.
It's you.
Okay, cool. So I'm ahead of where you are, so I'm gonna just keep on going.
Just keep moving.
And now Don is out here coming for me. I'm teling you, we going over to his social media.
That's enough room for both of us.
There is.
I'm here.
Can we as Black people stop perpetuating this belief that there isn't room for more than one of us? Because I think that's another thing that holds us back.
I want to, when we're done with this, I want to put you in this chair, and then I'm going to sit there and interview you.
You can ask me anything you want. You better bring your seatbelt. Because the one thing I've been struggling with balancing is being in public office now. We're like, the other day I went on Facebook and I said, we're going to sue the state if Caltrans doesn't clean up this homeless shit and trash on the freeways. And I meant it. And we're going to sue the shit out of you. It became a news story. The vice mayor said, I stand on what I said.
Good.
So I feel like now I'm in this weird place of where everything I say is it definitely comes through different.
Didn't I tell you were good at this?
Yeah.
I said you're good at you're good at this, but I said you were good at. I thought you were going to be a really good politician.
Thank you.
I said that to you. You know that.
Okay, I appreciate you. This next person, Beyonce.
The moment. I don't know. That's 2 words, but she is the moment right now. And speaking of like living legends, and someone who has just created their own path, and and actually her over time, she's gotten better. Like some people, you know, they can sing, blah, blah, blah. She's actually improved her talent. I think she's a better singer now. Obviously, when she first started, I think she is has more cultural relevance. She's more with the people. I actually think she's a better dancer, but I don't think she needs to dance. I think she's just talented. But I also love that she is trying to break norms. I'm gonna do a country album. And then she shows people that country was, you know, actually started by Black people, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, her music is definitely getting more symbolic. I mean, I didn't play the country album as much as I did the Renaissance, but it was a good album.
Yeah. I haven't, look, honestly, I haven't listened to like anybody's full album in forever. Like I know Beyonce songs, but I haven't sat down and like I used to do in the old days and play an album from start to finish.
But that's because most albums nowadays you can't play from beginning to end like back in the day.
Right.
Okay, this next person, Shannon Sharp. The green outfit.
No, is it weird? Look, he is a bad dresser, but the first thing that comes to my mind is Fine.
Really?
I think Shannon is fine. Yeah.
No, what, Fine is in like Fine doing his show or Fine?
No, I think he's a handsome man. I think he's a good-looking brother.
He looks kind of like a cartoon there.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, but fine doesn't mean like, some people like perfection. I don't like perfection. I like to, I don't know, I have like unusual things, but I think he's fine. Nice brown skin. People are gonna be like, Don Lemon's coming for Shannon. He's got nice chocolate skin, he's tall, he's got a great body. I mean, we know, he said he's on the, what does he say, he's on the row something?
I don't know what that little pill?
Yeah. But you know.
Him putting out that audio going live, laying on top of Michelle or whatever the girl's name was. Now you know that was marketing.
I don't know nothing about that.
He's smart.
I don't know nothing about that.
Well,
I think it got him a row contract, didn't it?
Have you ever seen him out with a Michelle? Have you ever heard of him dating?
I'm not out there like that. I'm not in his business, so I don't know. I know what you're alluding to, and that's not why I said he was fine. You think, how you doing? I don't know. Shannon,
I'm just saying, how you doing?
Shannon, keep doing your thing. I love what he's doing.
Just
I think
stop
he's doing
wearing
a good
those
job.
leggings.
He's our Joe Rogan. No.
Donna, if you don't shut the hell up playing around. He gets the numbers, I get it, but I mean, if I went to Fashion Nova, bought a $6 legging and jumped out of the car looking like I was one of the Incredibles, y'all would be talking about me too. But I'm just tired of going viral for stuff. I can go viral all day long because the mind that God gave me is sick one.
That's a shady shit, right? You are shady, shady, shady. I love it though.
Okay, this next individual, Jesse Smollett.
That's my word.
Aw's not a word. Is aw a word? Aw's a sentiment.
Well, but that's let's see another word. That is another why.
Why?
Why?
Because he got white fame, was accepted. He was their co-host with Kelly Ripa. I mean, he was there. And then somebody put a noose around his neck and poured gas on him on the way home from Subway. Why? Jesse's gonna allegedly. Jesse's gonna get mad because he had I had told the story before where I almost slept with him or whatever, and we had a personal friendship, and then he got famous, and then whatever went on. But it was interesting because when he went through the scandal and came through on the other side, I was trying to get Jesse on the show. And Jesse was like, nah, too messy. Then when he started coming on The Men, he started texting me up because I thought maybe he wanted to link up to talk about coming on the show. When I went back and looked over all the texts, it was like, where you at? Well, I don't film at 1 a.m. What you doing? What you doing at 2 a.m? I realized Jesse probably saw his new body, was trying to get some of it. But
you think you were the only one that happened to?
Who else?
I don't know.
Don, he was texting you too?
Oh, no, I'm not.
Oh, your husband is great. Of course, I know I'm not the only one, Don. But we never are. No, but why?
Why? I mean, why?
You think he can come back?
I think that anybody can come back. And I don't like to, talk shit about people, but I do think that he, maybe in some desperation, said something about me in court that was completely bullshit. to make an excuse for something that he was found guilty of, which was, it could have gone poorly for me, and so don't use me that way. I didn't like that. It was unnecessary.
I'm gonna take a selfie with you and then text it to him and say hi. No, because he don't text me back the same way he don't text you back, but maybe for different reasons.
What do you mean now?
Yeah.
I don't text him now.
Oh, you don't?
No. I don't have no need. After that thing happened with him where he said, I mean, it's very public. He said that he didn't turn his phone over to the Chicago police because there were texts from me saying that the Chicago police didn't believe him. You didn't need a text from me to tell you that.
I mean, they were on the news.
They were saying it on the news. And so I was like, Jussie, they don't believe you. And so why don't you come on my show and tell your story? That's what I was doing.
Right.
Come and tell your story.
Giving him a chance.
Give a chance so people could believe you. You can say your piece. But that's, to say that I didn't turn my phone over because there was a text from me, you knew that they didn't believe you. Why were you out there doing interviews anyway with Robin Roberts or whatever? Why were you knew that they didn't believe you because they were investigating you.
But now they overturned it, right?
Yes, they overturned it.
Okay, so that means he just lost everything for nothing?
They overturned it, yes. Well, partially. They overturned it not because from my knowledge, not because they didn't believe him, but because they said that they weren't going to prosecute him or something like that for some arrangement that they had made that they broke. And the court said they broke that arrangement. He should not have been prosecuted, not because they didn't believe him, but because of some technicality or something that he did a plea deal or something like that. Yeah.
Why? All right, last person.
Oh.
Your grandma.
Oh my God, I miss her. There's not one word to describe her. I miss her, and she, because of her, I am who I am today. She was, now everyone's like, I have a nanny. She was my nanny. She was my babysitter. She raised me. Oh my God, I miss her. That's how I know that there's a God, because God put her in my life. It wasn't a better person that I could, come on this earth and be associated with and have as a grandmother. It's her. That little white lady right there.
Wait, but why is she looking like, bitch, you tried it?
Because we would always laugh because we call her mommy. And so the word would be mommy. That's what we call her. But she always took a picture like this. That was her pose. We'd say, all right, everybody get ready. And back in the day, when the flash, she would go.
But maybe because my grandma was the same way. Maybe in that era they had to be tough, or I don't know.
I don't know. Isn't she beautiful?
Pretty beautiful though.
And it's so funny. Like I didn't realize I have those glasses, not realizing that those are the same glasses that she had.
Wait, the same actual ones?
No, not those. The same design. But she was amazing. And I wish that I was old enough then to learn her story, more of her story from her, like how she got property, how our family got land. She was a product of a relationship that wasn't supposed to happen. Her mother had a relationship with the plantation overseer. Her mother was what they call mulatto, right?
Right.
And so she had a relationship with the overseer of the plantation, Sinclair Plantation in, I think it was Plaquemine or Addis or somewhere, or Sinclair in Louisiana. And because they believed that he couldn't be in a relationship with my great-grandmother, that he shot himself. And so the land the house that my mother grew up in was given to her because that was his child. And so, that's how we sort of came about. And there are two sides of our family. She was Bulleney, but she was a Jackson. But there were two sides of our family. There was one Bulleney, it was my great-grandmother's name, that was a white Bulleney, and then there was a black Bulleney, and then we lived on different sides of town.
Yeah, I didn't know you were from Louisiana.
Yeah.
So are you going to go to the Super Bowl?
Yes, I have plans to go now. I don't like to go to bowl games. I don't like to go to bowl games or award shows.
Why?
Because it's just too much. I don't like the whole audience
and all this
waiting, and it takes forever, and you're like, you can't get out of your seat to go to the bathroom, and the seat filler has to come, and all that bullshit. I'm like, I don't like it.
But at least if you go to Louisiana now and Kendrick Lamar performs, you can crip walk by CNN and say, y'all not like us. That's what I would do.
They not like us. They not like us. Now remember, you're gonna have to cut this out.
That's right.
I was thinking that.
You know what?
You got to cut
right
that out.
Right as I said that, I thought,
You gotta
damn.
cut it out.
Well, we'll do that as a clip.
What do you want to say? Something else. So I just said I don't like going to bowl games or award shows.
We'll just cut all that out.
All right.
Well, listen, I'm glad that
That's it?
Oh, wait, no, I'm glad that. Well, that's it. Listen, we got into everything that would allow you to leave here unscathed. But before you leave, we do have one more gift on the side of your
This
chair.
had better not be nothing.
No, we don't. We're not going to give you a cock ring, Don. It would be inappropriate.
Now, why would you give me this damn thing?
Why not?
That's so dirty of you. I'm kidding.
What?
Oh my gosh, thank you, Jason. The best.
the
It
truth
says the truth teller, DL with a lemon. I have to ask your advice.
Okay.
Thank you very much for this.
You're welcome.
I have to ask your advice. So I have, I'm building just like a little background in my house. So I have something that's like recognizable, because you'd say I do it in different places.
Yeah.
And maybe I think it should be maybe a little bit more recognizable, but I don't know if it matters. And I'm trying to figure out if I should use the lemon, because the lemon maybe not makes it not so serious. If there's like a serious story, do I want a lemon as my logo in the background behind me, or does it matter anymore?
I'm going to connect you with Sean Harrison. I literally, as I was building this show, it came out of the Wendy folks saying, you're not big enough to have your own show. So I said, let's go build our own show. We'll bring Wendy's pizzazz with her you know how she likes the weird textures and all that, and our little wall. So Sean is my art director, but he did all my online stuff. He's the best art director. I'm going to connect you with him because he'll tell you.
But you know what I mean?
And he loves you, by the way.
Yeah, but yes, thank you. But
Yes.
when people
But
look at it.
But you should have, like when I do conference calls, you saw my wallpaper with all the photos. I have Hollywood Unlocked in a light, my logo behind it, just as you see when you come in. So that's my thing when I'm doing calls. So
people know. When
they know.
And also when you're doing calls, but also when they flip through you on social media, it's consistent.
Yes.
They know, oh, there's Jason.
When I was doing I had a show on Amazon every day. I did it live from there. You know, this is his backdrop. Yeah, it's good to have something like that.
But I'm wondering, is a lemon make it not serious, or who cares?
Who cares? It's the internet. Again, the internet is different. Like your setup right now, I'm telling you, I'm not copying you. However, we are definitely analyzing the market to see what we should be doing to stay ahead of innovation.
It's very flattering. What do they say? Imitation is what? Best form of flattery.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to flatter myself by imitating Don Lemon, and thank you for coming on the show. Give it up for Don Lemon.
The microphone.
Hey, thanks so much for watching The Jason Lee Show. To watch more episodes like that, click right here. And if you want to see more, subscribe below and click that notification bell.